Okay, now we're going to move on to lesson 5, which is, creating movie clips. And we've already kind of done this, remember, with the car? So we did create movie clips with that. So I'll just go over that again, how to do that. So I'm going to have a circle. Now I'm going to convert this into a movie clip, and I'll call it circle green. Then I'm going to double click. I'm going to go into this particular circle, change it to circle green. Now I'm going to create another layer and call it red circle. And I'm going to draw another circle which is going to be red on this layer. Okay, there's my red circle. I'm going to convert this into a symbol. It's going to be a movie clip. I'm going to call it red circle. Now I'm going to right click or go into free transform, and I'm going to change the registration point to be around there. Now I'm going to create a animation. So my red circle is now going to rotate or go from side to side within that circle. So I'm going to go to create motion tween, right click, insert keyframe position, and then I want to rotate this clockwise once. Now when we play this, it generally goes around. So now I've got this circle spinning around within this outer green circle. Now I can go back to my scene 1, and I can also introduce a tween here. So now I could say, I want this circle, or this whole object, this symbol, to go left and right. So I'm going to say create motion tween. I'm going to do, it's going to come to here. Then it's going to go back. Now when we play it, we have the red circle going back and forth, going round and round, and the green circle going back and forth. I'm just going to extend this to 100. Let me undo this to 100. So it's going to be far more smoother. Let's just move this here. Okay. Let's go back. So 50. I'll move that there. And 100. I'll move it there. Okay, it seems much smoother there. Does that make sense? So now what we could also do, I could have another one. I have this other, this particular circle going round and round. I could have something within that. I could have another circle going round and round, but I could have another one, another object within this red circle going left and right or doing something there. So I'm going to double click into the red circle, change this layer to red circle. And make sure, we're in from scene 1, we're in the green circle, from green we're in the red circle. Now I'm going to create another layer. Call this white circle. Now let's just zoom in. And now I'm going to create a white circle. Oops, let's change that to white. no stroke, white. So now I want this to run for, I don't know, let's say 100 frames. Go back, and I'm going to do right click, create motion tween. And now I want that to go from the 50th frame. I want that to go left, right to the end, or the edge of it. And maybe back there. Then on the last frame I want that to go, let's see, where did he go? Over there. Then he comes back. Now if we were to play this, just move out a bit. It's actually moving left to right. It should be. Let me just see. Let me just check. Maybe wrong. Yeah, it is. But it gives you the effect that it isn't. So we've generally got nested movie clips now. We've got the outer, the whole object, which is moving left to right. Then we have a nested symbol, which is a movie clip, the red circle. Now within the red circle we have a white one. So the benefit generally from having nested movie clips is going to be if you want to split objects and you want them to independently sort of animate. A good example could be a face. You could have a face which may be smiling, then you may have eyes. Within the eyes you may have the eyes blinking, going up and down, and then the eye pupils may be moving. And I'll try to cover more of that in terms of creating something more practical. But generally that's a movie clip, nested movie clip. One thing to remember is this part generally shows you how the movie clips are nested. So if we go back to scene 1, we know there is a movie. This is a symbol. We double click onto it. There's circle green. Now within circle green we have, well, let's move this to the outside. I'm going to move this to the outside. We have another red circle. Now within red circle I have another animation. Obviously the registration point is slightly different. Now if we go back into this, and this probably may happen, if you do look at it, if we have the, let's have a look here. And it's difficult to change the registration point once it's done, but you can move it. Let's go back to green circle. So I would strongly emphasize you to actually make sure you got your registration point in the right spot initially, rather than running into issues later on. So you will have issues trying to set that up. So one thing to also remember is how to delete. So if you accidentally, say insert keyframe, sure, you didn't want this. What's this extra frame doing here? And now everything's not just not working right. What you do is you select that frame, right click, remove frames, or you select a block of frames and you right click, remove frames. So just a few tips. Okay, now we are going to move on to lesson 6, animate text. So here I'm going to type in RAV, and I'll stick with that. I'm just going to make it a bit bigger, say 200. I'll change that to kind of a blue. So basically I want RAV to slide from left to right. I mean, that we could do that in this time. So I'm going to break it apart, Control B, Control B. or you could just leave it at that without even breaking. The only time you break it again is if you want to play around with the vector images. Okay, now I'm going to select that, right click, distribute to layers. Distribute to layers will basically take those 3 objects which are broken down, which is R, A, V, and it will put it on separate layers. So when I select distribute to layers, there's my R, there's my V, and there's my A, RAV. And there's layer 1, there's nothing on there. I can remove that. So I want my, my name to slide from left to right. So I'm going to create a timeline of 90 frames. So my R is going to first appear. So I'm going to do right click, create motion tween. Actually, I'll do it just separately. I'll do it differently this time. I've got 90 frames, so this is going to run in frames of 30. So I'm going to do right click on the 30th frame, insert keyframe. Then I'm going to do insert keyframe again below that, because I don't want the A to appear at that point. And neither do I want my V to appear. And then I'm going to select A, delete it, select V, delete it. So I've just got R there. And now I'm going to go to the next part. I'm going to insert a keyframe on the 60th frame. I'm going to also insert a keyframe on the 60th frame for V. At this point, I want my R to be there and my A to be there, but not my V. So I'm going to delete my V. Okay, now I introduce the tween. So I'd say create motion tween. I'm going to have that slide from right to left. And then I want the same thing for my A, create motion tween. I want that to slide from right to left also. And then finally I want my V. So I'm going to create a frame. And actually, I could actually shift these across so at least the name stays there for a while. So until the 90th frame. So now I want my V to slide from left to right. So I'm going to move that out. And now if we play this, and then it'll just cycle through again. So that's how you generally create text animation. If we're using simple sort of flying in from the left. I mean, I could have these objects fall down, then I could have frame by frame animation. So here what I could do is insert keyframe. Here I could start doing a frame by frame animation by just rotating it a bit. I could just have it rotate, insert keyframe, kind of judder a bit, or even move it up a bit. Come down. So now I have a combination of the R slightly moving when kind of the A sort of may hit it. So I could have the A comes directly into and hit that, then it could actually move back. So I could say, it comes back in a bit, insert keyframe, transition, rotate it a bit, insert keyframe again, move it back a bit, insert keyframe again. So we're doing a combination of motion tween and keyframe animation. So now if we look at it, so obviously the R actually shouldn't be like that. I need that to be straightened out. So I'll actually do that. There's a straight. So if it doesn't actually change pixel by pixel, you may want to change the snapping. Snapping needs to be by pixels. Let me go back. So I need to get rid of snap to align. View, remove snap to guides. View, remove snapping to object. Now that should allow me to change that pixel by pixel. And now right at the end, when the V kind of hits that, I could have the A sort of move across too. So I could say, let's see. So I'm going to have the A sort of come in, hit the V come in, hit the A. And this time I'd have insert keyframe. So this time I'll just have this sort of judder a bit, insert keyframe. Insert keyframe. Gonna move it up. And this time have the V kind of move out a bit. Insert keyframe. Insert keyframe. Insert keyframe. It kind of stabilizes. Let's have the A straighten out a bit. The V also can straighten out a bit. Now if we play that, so here we see a combination of motion tween and frame by frame animation. What I could also do in addition to that, currently I have the A there, so I'm going to just right click, just remove that last layer. Just remove that. So on the last frame, or on the 95th frame, I'm saying insert keyframe on all of these, insert keyframe, insert keyframe. Now I'm just going to have them kind of zoom out. So I'm now going to go to R, there's R, say I'll do it to the 30th frame, insert, or create motion tween. Do the same thing here, create motion tween. What I tend to do is when I create motion tween, I just use the up and down arrow keys to create the frame, to create the keyframe. And now on the very last frame, I'm just going to have this zoom out. Control minus, so that kind of zooms out. And I could have it sort of move up a bit. And I'll do the same thing with the A. And the same thing with the V. Now if we play that, it goes a bit kind of sudden, but you could see. So I'd probably undo this. If it doesn't always sort of pan out the way you had hoped, you can always undo it. So if we go back, what I would now do is I'm just going to create the motion tween again. But this time I am going to have them zoom out, but at the same time I want the filter. Let's see, I have to create that into a symbol. Let's see, where is it now? Options, filter. I could have kind of a blur. I'll do the same thing to the others. I'll probably put that on the wrong. I've created another keyframe here. Let's do it again now. So once again, property, blur, and I'll do the same thing with this, right, on the last frame. Go to properties, blur, and we will do more of this. Then the last one would be the V, blur, and there's other features. You could also have glows if you want to. So kind of a smooth transition there. Okay, so we're kind of done for this week. So stuff we've done is we've done combination of keyframe animation along with motion tweening. We've done letters, and we've covered some sort of properties. You know, for example, the blur. So we'll do more of that. So don't forget, if you have any questions, make sure you post them on Angel. Or if you want me to cover specific parts, or if you're really stuck, you know, you could always email me. Make sure you post questions on the discussion forum. Start thinking of your final project. Okay, we're kind of done for this.